oh, I feel so bad. Well, it's not the way things work. You know, when you do this, when you take away the incentive for people to work,
right.
you are, so basically what will happen is you've been at this job for 15 years, you're making X amount of dollars, that currently is minimum wage, as what they want to move the minimum wage to, let's say $15 an hour. I come in brand new, and now I'm going right into $15 an hour. And you say, wait a minute, I've been here for 10 years.
You lose the momentum when you disincentivize. You lose the desire to get ahead, because
exactly.
you're really not getting ahead any different than anyone else, and it just becomes this euphoric level playing field, and that's not the way that capitalism works. I mean, you have to be incentivized to do better and pick yourself up. So I can clearly see the message that, you know, it's not that you're heartless and you want to see anybody not have the ability to care for a family or provide for a family. It's rather you want to see people want to better themselves and climb up on their own.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly right. We want to have people follow that American dream, but have the opportunities that are out there. That's why some of the things that we're also trying to do is in a higher education, which I no longer serve on, but Representative Camilla serves there. They're partnering, they're looking for partnerships between the higher education communities and the business community to make sure that, and also incorporated into that is the community colleges. So that you get people who go in starting in a community college, they're partnered with a university. The university is going to offer them an opportunity to further their career and get educated, become a better applicant for a particular position. If we can specialize in certain fields, biotechnology or technology in general, banking, whatever it might be, even nursing, to get these people the education that they need, 4-year education. Now we're all of a sudden, we've developed a pool of really well-educated employees, quality applicants, having partnered now with some of these businesses. They've got the cream of the crop to pick from. And that keeps people in the state of Connecticut.
I was just going to say that, and that also has that rippling effect that you're keeping your talent in and you're attracting talent, you know, even when people search for a college or a higher learning institution, you make Connecticut a more attractive place to be.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's really what we need to be doing right now. You know, we have to get away from this mindset that Connecticut is, it's going in the toilet. It's you know, we're in a downward spiral. We have to show
you have to stop the bleed, really, and you have to think of, you know, and even, you know, with the exodus, we talk about the residential exodus where people go to more tax-friendly, income tax-friendly states and estate tax-friendly states for sure. But it's kind of the same on the corporate level too, and the commercial exodus, when you lose companies such as GE, they take the people with them. So again, making the workforce more attractive here, it's only going to start to rebuild and rebrand the state.
Well, that's exactly right. You want to get rid of the restrictions on the corporate environment. You want to reduce the corporate tax base.
Right.
Because, and people say, oh, they hear corporate and they think, oh, this big bad, you know, corporate meanies. You know, well, no, those are the ones that are creating the jobs. You create a better environment for them to do business, and they're going to expand their business.
Absolutely.
They're going to create more jobs for people, and that's what's going to move the state forward, and that's going to bring us back.
Doesn't everybody get that?
I don't know. You got to shake them sometimes.
I'm sure. Let's shift gears back to the local level a bit, though, here in Greenwich, and some wonderful accomplishments that you've been so instrumental with. The New Lebanon School. Can you talk about the advancements there and your contributions to this?
Well, that was that was something that took a long, long time. I've been working at that since probably 2011. But as a legislative end, you know, we were told by the governor that in his office administration that there would be no way that they would be supportive of a new school,
right?
And that they would. So we chose to look at him as irrelevant, and we went to the legislative body, and we went to all of the chairs of the particular committees that we needed to go in front of, and we pled our case, and we talked with them. I spoke with hundreds of them, one-on-one, face-to-face, because that's the way you get things done. It's not just sending an email or a phone call. It's sitting down with them one-on-one, explaining to them the true needs of the school, the diversity, the fact.
Yeah, I mean, that is considered a diverse school.
Oh my gosh,
right? It's serving.
It's over 70% diverse. So at the end of the day, we met and exceeded every requirement that the state of Connecticut had in their statute and the Department of Administrative Services to achieve an 80% reimbursement, and it was really something that they couldn't refute. And when we sat down and looked at the way the statute was written and what we were looking at trying to accomplish, everybody was in complete agreement, and especially those that I did bring down to see, or I showed video of the schools. They were blown away that something like this actually was happening, where the kids were spending half of a day in a rec center.
Yeah.
Kids were practicing band in the hallways. So they knew that there was a need there, and they knew it was an obligation, and they knew it was everything that the statute read that they needed to do for the town and for the school.
It's amazing the about face, though, that you were able to help let the state make. I mean, to go from a complete no, we're not doing it, to really demonstrating the need. I mean, you really, I credit you and your ability to demonstrate a tangible need. Students should not be in a hallway anywhere. I mean,
no, absolutely
there's
not.
a basic need for infrastructure in the schools. And before you can even get to the higher education level, we have to take care of the youth to make sure they're on path to get to higher education. So it starts in elementary. I mean,
no, absolutely. And I mean, it truly was a team effort from our entire delegation. I mean, I had Representative Florin working in the bonding commission, Representative France in the end of the Senate, and Representative Camilla helping me reach across the aisle for everyone. And it was really something.
We have a great team there.
We have a great team.
I love that pic. Where was that picture taken that I posted of you guys on Facebook?
We were at Todd's Point doing the cleanup. Senator France wasn't in there. He was in the clam bed box cleaning up over there. We're like, you go over there. We're not doing that.
We're not touching that. See, cleaning up Connecticut.
Cleaning up Connecticut.
The Bocchino ticket. Cleaning up Connecticut. I love it. Emily's Law. A very, very sad circumstance, but a law that was passed nonetheless that really hopes to have a great positive impact. Discuss to viewers and listeners.
Yeah, no, it already has had an incredible impact across the state.
It was passed in what year, Mike?
2016.
So it's 2 years on the books now.
Yeah, it's 2 years on the books. Unfortunately, it stemmed from the tragedy of Emily Fedorko and the towing incident out on Long Island Sound. But, we and Senator France really led the charge with this is something that was near and dear for myself too, because it was right in my district, out in the Sound there. And Emily's parents are incredibly strong individuals.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine.
Who've created the Fedorko Foundation, and you've taken a tragedy and you've not so much turned it around, but you've taken the tragedy and tried to create an educational experience for people to understand this, the real dangers.
Good will come out of
and the dangers of water activities.
For sure. People may feel a level of invincibility on water.
Yeah.
But their responsibilities are just as great, if not even greater at some point.
No, absolutely. I mean, and you take for granted some of the things that you're out there on the water doing because you're just having a lot of fun. And, and towing was one of them. And when you look at boating safety courses, they only take about 5 minutes to go over towing, and it's really such an intricate thing. So what this law does now is it creates an actual extended forum to make certain that people understand all of the things that are involved when you're out there utilizing the waterway for recreation purposes.
So all boat operators, it's a mandated boating safety course. Is it mandated? Is it X amount of hours, or is it a program that's?
Yeah, it's a program that's just incorporated into the boating safety now.
Okay.
It extends, I think it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Okay. And they must be 16 years of age to operate a boat.
You have to be 16.
Was that age raised with the creation of this law, or was it always?
No, it was raised up to the creation of this law.
Okay.
And we did talk to quite a few individuals about it to make certain that there was no conflicts or anything, and everyone really was, just very open and understanding.
It seems so logical.
And it's unfortunate. It is. It's very logical, but unfortunately, sometimes things take tragedies for you to recognize.
Very, very sad. Very true.
Yeah.
I want to shift gears back. Let's talk about Chief Justice McDonald and the GOP's position on him.
Well, the vote was made on Monday. It was a 75-74 vote in favor of the Justice McDonald becoming elevating to Chief Justice. The one Republican was Representative Florin, who I love her, and she is a very, very close and dear friend to Andrew McDonald, and she represents a portion of Stanford where he's from, and they've got a great relationship, and she had stated from day one that she believed that he should be elevated and he had the right credentials. We respectfully disagreed, as did many other colleagues of mine with her position, but that's one thing about our party is there is no this idea that leadership comes down and drops the hammer and says you have to vote this way or I'm going to take away your parking space or this, that, or the other thing. It doesn't exist on our side of the aisle. And Livy was absolutely going to stick to her guns, and we all appreciated the fact that she gave her word and
you can always respect conviction. I always say, believe in something and stand for something. You respect that a lot more than people that are easily swayed or easily moved.
And I don't think anybody was easily swayed, because you had 5 Democrats who voted against Justice McDonald.
Okay.
And for really, really heartbreaking reasons. All coming back to his position on the death penalty.
Capital punishment, and that's important too, because he is the first openly gay justice, and
that doesn't have anything to do with it.
But that's important to say that the GOP. I was reading an article that the GOP opposition had nothing to do with that. It really hinges upon well, I think that it's truly a merit-based issue that you have with him, and it has to do with.
For myself, I supported him being onto the Supreme Court. However, he has no. For me, it was the experience. He has no experience. Not as much. He has no experience on the appellate court or the Superior Court. The justices who sit there now currently have decades of experience.
And which you would think the position dictates.
Well, and you would think that the position one of those would be elevated to that position, but because that was one of my sticking points, was you don't have the same experience as a wealth pool of justices who are serving right now, and the governor decides not to go with those individuals to be chosen. That I thought was wrong. And then when it comes to the death penalty, he made a mistake. He didn't recuse himself when he should have. He was the governor's lead counsel.
Yes.
He knew what was going on.
Yes.
He should have recused himself, and because of it, we've got individuals who are sentenced to death who created heinous crimes. I mean, if anybody looks at the Cheshire that happened to the Pettit family, it's horrific beyond words. And the fact that when the overturning of the death penalty was supposed to be prospective, meaning that no one else who was already on death row was going to be then
it was for future crime. They were at that point in 2011. They were focused on future crimes.
Yes, and then that kind of rug was pulled out from underneath the legislature, and now all of a sudden these individuals who are on death row committing this, acts that you can't even want to get into.
You couldn't even write it.
Now, serve a life imprisonment that taxpayers of the state of Connecticut are paying for. And that really resonated with a lot of people, as it did with Representative Camillo. Representative Camillo he is very, very good friends with Justice McDonald. And they spoke, but as Representative Camillo sat and listened to testimony, he listened to Dr. Pettit, the husband of the individuals that were murdered, and he listened to the debate, and he, in the middle of it, went and called Justice McDonald and said, "Andrew, I can't do this. My conscience, I just can't do it." And that's what people don't understand. They think it's cut and dry. And these, I can tell you something. Jeff Raymer, the DTC chair, going out there and saying the stench of the Republican Party, for sticking to what happens in Washington is just, he should be ashamed of himself, should apologize. And I'd love to hear what he's got to say negatively, what nasty words he's got to say about those 5 Democrats who voted.
Who just couldn't vote in favor of
I should say the 4, because Representative Lanahan from Cheshire she waited until the last minute to see if it was okay if she could vote against them, which I think is horrific. But Representative Morris, Representative Butler, Representative Gonzalez, and Representative Rivero, all Democrats, all had specific reasons why. And none of them had anything to do with homophobe. None of them had anything to do with...
No, they were merit-based.
They were merit-based. They had issues. One was his stance on the Catholic Church. Another was his stance on the death penalty, and another was his inexperience. So it's unfortunate.
Where in the nominating process is he right now?
Well, so he's passed the House, and now it will go to the Senate.
Okay.
And currently, right now in the Senate, Senator Schlossberg has recused herself because she had an uneventful experience with Justice McDonald and had to recuse herself, and rightfully so. So,
well, Mike, what's very refreshing about yourself and what you mentioned about Representative Camillo and Florian as well is that there's a conscience behind the voting, and I think that your constituents out there, that's why they put you in office. So
thank you.
Thank you for sticking to that. And our time is about to close. I thank you for coming on. You're certainly a busy guy.
Yeah, we're
There's
running.
so much more that you're working on, but I thank you for taking the time to come on air today.
Always.
Wishing you the best of luck, and thanking you on behalf of the residents for all that you're doing.
No problem. And just one quick announcement is on March 27th, we'll be posting some flyers about this, but we will have the Commissioner Redeker, the Commissioner of Transportation in town of Greenwich, doing a forum to let everyone know the administration's plans for transportation in the future, and they'll give our constituents an opportunity to
I will definitely promote that
speak.
as well. Jen Graziano, thank you for taking the time to listen as we take the time to talk. Have a great day. Bye-bye.